With Trump and his camp, I feel more free to express myself.
All men love Trump. He's just like the ideal American.
If there's one thing Trump's campaign accomplished, besides winning the election, it's appealing to young men.
Democrats didn't talk to young men enough. Young men don't feel like they're doing okay.
Unlike Democrats, who literally don't list men under the communities they serve, Trump's campaign directly responded to young men, many of whom say they felt left behind by woke culture.
This was a direct referendum on wokeness.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay?
Today, we're taking a stand against woke nonsense.
Trump took wokeness and threw it in the trash. And 56% of men under 30 answered his call in the voting booth this year. That's a 15% spike in the demographic from 2020. And this shift didn't just happen among white men. It happened across several racial and ethnic groups.
You have people who are not minorities themselves speaking on behalf of minorities.
It's like the melting pot of all the angriest and most emotionally reactive people you would ever meet in the world.
And that's what men my age need. That sense of love, that sense of community.
So what does that actually look like for young men? And crucially, how will it shape how millions of them navigate everyday life? I asked 3 20-something-year-old Trump voters, and there are some super interesting themes that tie them all together.
Basically asking God to save me from it, and that he's my only outlet for euphoria or any good thing that I need in my life.
Niko used to identify as politically independent, but he shifted toward Trump after feeling that woke culture had become too intolerant of his views.
I have no reason to hide anymore. And yes, Trump winning has something to do with that, and that's what men my age need. Like that sense of grace, that sense of love, that sense of community, and unconditional love. Not the fake love that you get from your girlfriend, not the fake love that you get from the hoes on the street, like genuine freaking love. And men are missing that.
Do you feel that Donald Trump is fostering that community, love, and faith that you're looking for?
In a Trump way. Like, look at Trump's family in the public eye. In the public eye. But like how the father is supposed to be, like the provider, strength, and the mom is supposed to be like a caregiver. And don't try to take that masculinity away from us. Don't try to take that away from us, because you can't. Women have strength and power in their own way. Men have strength and power in their own way. And once you kind of mix that up, then things begin to fall apart.
When women succeed in the workplace, in education, in America, do you feel like you're not able to succeed as a man?
Low key, and I only say low key because I feel like women, y'all been getting a lot recently. Like the attention, the business deals, the film industry, the music industry, the fashion industry. It's easier when you have a pretty face and you get sexualized. Oh yeah, here's a job, you know? Men, we have to work 100 times harder, especially when you're already competing with like the best in the room. It's difficult. We gotta provide for our families, provide for ourselves, compete for like the best woman, and that's just a slim percentage.
The fact is, women are not going to stop progressing, right? So what do you need as a man to feel like you can succeed in this world while women are succeeding alongside you?
I think the more just love and compassion we have for each other, it'll get better. Because policies go one way, they go another way the next way. Jesus, you're my ecstasy. Jesus, you're my ecstasy.
Trump made huge gains with the working class this election, and Ozone Park in Queens, New York serves as proof. In 2024, more residents here voted for Trump and Republicans than ever before.
This is a pure swing area right now, and the reason that's interesting is because, 5-10 years ago, this was a solid blue area.
Rusat has campaigned for Republicans in this area over the last few years. He felt that the area's Democratic representatives were failing young men.
So John Adams High School has been here for decades, and it's been a failing high school for decades. I mean, this school and this area of Queens in general consistently has some of the lowest test scores. When you have failing high schools like that in your area, that your local elected officials do nothing to fix year after year after year, and Democrats at the local level keep failing you, especially on the education issue, which means a lot to working class immigrant communities, eventually they're going to see that the Democrats are not delivering on their priorities, and they're going to shift their vote as a result of that. And it's a sort of a backlash issue.
What does that do to young boys in the schools?
When you have young men who are not seeing themselves given proper opportunity or representation in society, you're going to have a backlash as a result. And they're going to say, well, if I'm not getting opportunity, then I need to vote for a change to the system to give me opportunity. Young men who don't feel included in culture, don't feel included in society, look to alternative culture, alternative media, whether the podcast bros or in the worst case scenario, the Andrew Tates of the world, and their mindset will be shaped differently.
Male influencers associated with the right made a humongous impact this election.
You know, Kamala's a very low IQ person. She's a very low IQ.
No, I would just do cocaine. That was really, so not just, yeah.
That's down and dirty, right?
It's gonna be great. I think so too. This all my life.
Your body, my choice.
Donald Trump is the last hope of Western civilization.
We're going to make this country so strong and so great, and when you're ready for your job, you're going to get a great job.
Most of them don't focus on political content specifically. They make content about self-help, gaming, or pranks, and that's a huge part of the appeal for many young men. At a time when Joe Rogan gets 11 million views per episode, while CNN is getting a primetime audience of 700K on its best day, it seems like bro influencers are becoming the new mainstream.
You shouldn't dismiss the conversation happening online, because a lot of this stuff will eventually move into the real world. It's like the melting pot of all the angriest and most emotionally reactive people you would ever meet in the world.
Ryan is a YouTuber who grew up in a liberal family in a liberal Illinois suburb, but his political views changed during the pandemic. I wanted to talk to him about what role his media diet played in that.
I did see Joe Rogan up there.
Oh yeah.
So like, how often do you watch Joe Rogan?
I watch him for the guests. I don't watch him all the time, but I would watch, if there's a good guest, I've watched a lot of his stuff.
Did you watch all 3 hours of the Trump one?
I did, and the whole almost 4-hour JD Vance one.
Do you think that actually had a huge impact on how young men voted?
Just the fact that he was willing to do it represents what a lot of people are looking for in their candidate now, to have a candidate who's just like a real person. One of the things that people criticized Kamala for most was the fact that she said the same thing at every speech, and people just love that Trump is willing to talk to people and can kind of freestyle and talk to Rogan for 3 hours. Maybe there's something on Rumble. I'll be on there once in a while.
What's Rumble?
It's like where everyone, when you get banned from YouTube, you go to Rumble.
So what kind of people does it attract?
We got Nick Fuentes, Sneeko, Andrew Tate, Owen Benjamin. Everyone who's canceled moves here.
So I know Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, he has some other stuff that got him canceled as well.
Yeah, he I don't really watch his stuff, but I read, and I know that he's been called a white nationalist. Your Body, My Choice was really controversial. He got doxxed for that. Do you think that there's a line of which influencers to interact with?
Me personally, I'll watch anyone. I think that want to read as many people as possible, watch as many people as possible, and hear all perspectives. I've seen how people who I watched growing up, I watched, Jordan Peterson was one of the first people I watched. I saw how he got tarnished by the media as this Nazi. And, that since then, I've kind of just had my mind open to be willing to listen to anyone's opinions, even if they're labeled as, the worst thing in the world. I'm open to checking them out and hearing what they have to say.
So it's almost like if the media cancels you, or the mainstream culture or whatever cancels a person, you want to know why they got canceled.
It's added aura, and it's just I never would have checked a lot of these people out anyway, but the fact that they're getting banned from all platforms, gives them this aura that I'm I gotta at least check it out. Yeah, I think people are just very, very quick to slap on the most negative label possible on everyone.
In a world where these young men have felt like their beliefs are not compatible with mainstream culture, what does the future look like?
Where did Democrats go wrong in their messaging to young men, and where did Republicans get it right?
Number one is Democrats didn't talk to young men enough. Democrats were depending on reproductive justice and an outsized performance among young women and women to push them over the win mark. And obviously that didn't happen. There's this increased cynicism among young men, feeling like no one is listening to them, that they're not being paid attention to. There are large segments of our country, young men, young people more broadly, who are disengaging and seeing government as not helpful to actually changing their lives. And that, I think that's like a big concern that people should be worried about and trying to find solutions to.
Long term, what does that mean?
That's not good for our democracy. I mean, I'm a big believer in democracy regardless of partisanship, that it's much better the more people who are engaged, who are paying attention, who are talking to politicians, who are holding them accountable, making sure their concerns are front and center, and using government tools and institutions to try to demand change, the better and stronger our democracy is.
In a world where these young men have felt like their beliefs are not compatible with mainstream culture, what does the future look like?
Young men want opportunity just like every other group, and they don't want to be lectured to continuously that because of historic wrongs, they are wrong today.
Law and integrity, bringing that back to our country. That's what we need.
Some people feel like just the polarization will continue. I kind of lean more towards thinking that there's going to be some kind of compromise, some kind of breaking point.
It's not some crazy secret why these men are looking toward Trump for a better future. Sometimes liberal culture can feel unforgiving and even suffocating. Everything about Trump challenges that. He's not afraid to get up on a podium and say the wrong thing, and he's often criticized for doing so, but that doesn't stop him. That's exactly what these young men are looking for: forgiveness and freedom to say what they want without getting judged or canceled. The question is, will they vote for the Republican Party forever?